Alright, so now we're going to work from the reset.js and we'll process the form data and call the function to reset the password. So first off, since we've already done something similar in login, I'll just use the login to just make things a little bit faster. So I'll grab the form data, which is coming from here. Yeah, so this form data state, I'll grab that. I'm not going to use the loading state, by the way, so I'll just copy the form data and head over to the reset, and then let's load that in. So I'll come here and I'll put my form data here. Let me put it at the top like that, and then I'm just going to import use state so that we get rid of these red lines. Aha. So let's go back to login and I'll grab the initial state, which is at the top here, copy that, and then come back to the reset. So I would also slot that here, and now the initial state is not going to have an email. Instead, it's going to have a password and password 2, so we can compare. So password 2, right? Then this the structure in here is going to have password as well as password 2, so I'll just add a comma here and say password 2. Great. Now let's handle the form input. So I would, like I did before, come to the login and then just grab the line of code. So first off, I'll copy this function to handle input change because I'm also going to need it, and I'll just load that in here like so, and then I would go into the form input. So in the form input, remember we have the value. So let me go back. Okay, great. So we have a value and this unchanged. So let me take the one from the password. I'll just grab this guy here. I'll copy that and I'll head to my reset.js. So for the first input, this is password. I'll come down here and paste that in and it matches. So but for password 2, which is right here, we're going to come down, paste that in and make some changes. So here we'll point the name to password 2, and here also password 2. Great. So at this point we can go ahead and create the function to reset the password. So on the form, I'm going to add an onSubmit here, and then that onSubmit is going to point to a function which I'm going to call reset, and then I'll just Control Z, and then I'll just copy that, and then let's create that function here. So I'm going to create an asynchronous arrow function, which I'm going to call reset. So paste that in and let's open that up. So we're going to give it an e parameter and prevent the default. So e dot prevent default, and then I'll just call that. Now, like I always do, I want to be sure that my form data has been successfully retrieved. So I'm going to print something to the console, and that's going to be my form data. Great. Now let me go ahead and save, and I'll just open the reset page. Now the reset page has a URL of localhost port 3000/reset and reset password /123. That's the params I'm using right now. Okay, so it's taking a while to load. Alright, so this is the reset page. Now before we actually test this out, I also want to be able to pick the params from the URL, and to do that I'll need to use a use params. I'll come here and then I'll just scroll up and I'll import use params. So let me just do that, use params, and it's from React Router DOM as well. So I'll import that and then I'll just Ctrl X to come out of there. Now for us to we need to get the params out of the URL, like I said. So I'm just going to do that here, just below this guy here. I'll come down and then I'll say const, let's destructure, and we want to get out the reset token because that's what we named the params. So this needs to be const. So we'll get out the reset token inside of the use params like so. All right, so now instead of just logging the form data, I can also just log this reset token so that I'm sure that I'm able to access it at least right now. So I'll scroll down, and where is my function to submit? Yeah, so I'll do another console.log, but this time I would log the reset token. Okay, so now let's go ahead and test. I'll save this file and let's test out this here. So I'll open my console. Okay, so my console is open. So remember our params here was 123. Here I will now add a password. So I need to be in local, I need to be in my console, not application. So let's come here and so let's just add a password 123, or maybe not 123, so that it's different. So I'll just say user, just add something user, and then I'll click on reset password. So you see, first off, we get this object that contains the passwords, both password 1 and password 2. This is password and this is password 2. Great. And then we now get this params 1 2 3. So we're able to access the form data and the params. Now that we're able to access that, we can now go ahead and write out our reset functionality. So first off, we're going to start with validation. I'll close this up and then I'll come back here. Inside of this guy here, we're going to start with validation. Let me get rid of this. And the validation, we've actually done something like that before. So I think I'll just do it from the login here. So there are two passwords. Let's see what kind of validation did we do here. Okay, so I'll just grab this and copy that. You know what, let me just go to the register, because we already have exactly what we need in the register page. So register, so let me open that. Great. So now in the register page, you remember we created an if statement to check the length of the password. So we're also going to need that here. So I'll just grab this if statement, copy that, and then I'll go to the reset password, and that's the first thing I'll do. I'll check if the password length is less than 6, and if it is, I'll just throw this error. All right, now let me import toast, which I have not been able to auto import since I started this recording. Anyway, I don't know why that is, but I guess I'll have to find out. So let's come back to the register page, and next we're going to check if password 1 and password 2 do not match, and if they do not match, we want to catch that and throw an error as well. So I'll come back to my reset and then I'll just slot that at the bottom of this guy. Yeah, so that's our validation. Let me import my toast from React Toastify, and I'll just grab this line to import the toast, and then I'll come back here to my reset password and slot that in. So let's import toast. So let's come and continue the process. So now we've been able to validate the request. So what if the password 1 and password 2 matches the specification we want? Well, we want to take both password and put it inside an object which we'll call user data. So I'm just going to come to the register. We already have something like that. So we have the user data variable we created. Yeah, this one. So I'll just grab this user data variable. I'll copy that. I'll come back here and then I'll slot it in just below this guy. I'll come here and paste it in. But what we need is password 1 and password 2. So we have password, so we just need to add password 2. Password 2. Okay, great. Now we have the user data. So now we can now do the try catch block to send to call the reset password function which we've created in our services. So I'm just going to come down here and then I'll just do try catch. Okay, so thank Visual Studio Code help me out this time. So in my try block, well, I'll just do const and I'll data, that's going to be equal to, we're going to await, and then I'll just call the reset password function. So reset password, and it's supposed to come from the services and auth services. So I'll auto import that by just pressing enter on that, and then I'll just open my parentheses. Now this reset password function is expecting two pieces of data. The first is the user data, which we're going to add here. So here I'll just say user data, which contains the two passwords, the old password and the new password. Then the next is the reset token. So I'll add that reset token, which is the params we got from this page. All right, so after you do that, well, I'm going to do a toast. I'm just going to throw a toast here. So I'll just say toast. That's if the reset password is successful. Then I'll say toast.success. Aha. So toast.success, and I'll just log the response from the back end. So if you remember, we had a response from the back end, and that response is going to be in data.message. Okay, I don't know why my computer is kind of sluggish. Anyway, and in the error area here, I will just maybe if there's an error, maybe I'll just toast the error as well. So toast, sorry. Okay, I'm already toasting errors from the back, so maybe I'll just log the error to the console this time. I'm not going to toast anything. So I'll say log, and I'll just say error. Okay, so that's about it. Maybe error.message. Aha. So moment of truth, is time for us to actually test out this functionality and see if it works. And is there any other thing I need to do? I don't think so. So I'm just going to save this file, and then we're going to test. So let's go ahead, and we actually need to start from the forgot password page. So I'll go to the login page, and from there I'll go to the forgot password page, and here let me just enter my email, and then I'll click on get reset email. That's because the one we did before most likely has expired. So I'll give it a couple of seconds, and then I'll just refresh my email to check. So let me refresh this email here. Okay, so you see I now have a new email that was sent. That's why you see here. Let me just expand this browser. So yeah, so this one, I'll click on it, and I think, yeah, this is the latest one. So I'll just open this up in the browser like so, because it's only valid for I think 30 minutes. So let's do it quickly. Aha, so you see here we now have the params, this long string of token, and then let's create a new password. So I'll just make this password user, I think my current password is in 12345, so I'll just say user 123, and then here I'll also say user 123, and then I'll click on reset. So fingers crossed. Aha, password reset successful, please log in. So here let's go back to the login page, and I'm just going to try to log in with the previous password, just to be sure that that one is no more valid. So you see invalid email or password. Now let me log in with the password I just set, and I hope I set it correctly. Okay, great. So you see now we're able to log in with the password that we just set. So that's about it for the functionalities that we need for our authentication. In the next one, we're now going to start working on other aspects of the application. See you there.